friends. Here we are again today for another episode of our podcast. And today I want to talk to you about how I make my tiramisu. I will be linking in the description my video where I make it, so you can combine what's in the video with the extra tips that I'm gonna give you today. The first thing you have to remember is that as for any dish you make that has few ingredients, and in this case there only are 6 ingredients, each and every one of them are of high quality. Remember, tiramisu needs to be made the day before. You cannot make tiramisu the day that you're going to serve it, because it will not be at its best. Tiramisu needs to rest overnight so that the cream gets to the right consistency, that the ladyfingers are soft but not soggy. So it's mandatory. You have to make it the day before it's going to be served. Then room temperature eggs. This because it will speed up a little bit the whisking of the egg whites, and a pinch of salt. I always complained with my mom because I didn't see the need of adding the salt in something sweet, but actually a pinch of salt will help your egg whites to hold the peaks, and that is one of the most important features for your tiramisu. Only super fresh eggs. Best if you have somebody with hands that can give you super fresh eggs. Otherwise, try to get the ones that have the longest shelf life. And fresh, or the freshest you can find, mascarpone. So when I make tiramisu, I always go for the end of the line of mascarpone, because that's where normally the longest shelf life is. Then sugar, coffee. Make a very good espresso, and I mean several doses of espresso, and let it cool at room temperature. If it's too hot, you will risk that the ladyfingers disintegrate in your cake, and you do not want that. Then sugar and cocoa powder. The only sugar you will use is the one you put in the egg yolks. Normally the ratio is 1 egg and 1 spoonful. I'm not talking measuring tablespoons, but really a soup spoon dipped into the sugar and pulled out. So a heaping spoon of sugar per egg. And consider that for an 8-ounce container of mascarpone, you will need about 3 eggs. So you need a super clean bowl where you will be putting the egg whites. So you separate the egg whites and the yolks. Yolks in a larger container, because that's where you're gonna finish all incorporation of all of the cream ingredients. Egg whites in the other one. Pinch of salt in the egg whites. Whisk to until the egg whites hold the peaks. Now, to make sure that they are perfectly whisked, all you have to do is tilt the bowl. If the egg whites move, then it's not ready. If the egg whites stay at that point, you can even flip the bowl upside down and they will not fall. Add sugar to the yolks and whisk until they are very light yellow. That together with the mascarpone and the egg whites is what will keep your cream fluffy and very airy. You add the mascarpone into the egg yolks, and then you whisk it a little longer until it's perfectly incorporated. After this, you add a couple spoonfuls of the egg whites and you mix it into the egg yolks mascarpone mixture so that it lightens it up a little bit, and then you add the entire amount of the egg whites. Remember, you always incorporate the whipped egg whites from the bottom to the top. You never stir in circles because that will basically break down your egg whites and you will have a very liquid thing. I'm not even calling it a cream at that point. Then when the cream is ready, you get your coffee and ladyfingers. Make sure you're using high quality Italian ladyfingers because they are the best ones to make tiramisu. Quickly dip the ladyfingers into the coffee. First layer of ladyfingers, half of the cream, and a dusting of unsweetened cocoa powder, and then again ladyfingers and cream. Do not put the last layer dusting of cocoa powder because by the time you will be serving the tiramisu, that cocoa powder has become wet and cakey. So it's much better that you do it right before you serve the tiramisu. I never use any alcohol into my tiramisu, but if you want to, do not add it to the cream, add it to the coffee. That way your cream will remain perfect and you will not risk to wet it or make it a little bit too liquidy. Then the other thing is, do not soak ladyfingers too much. Ladyfingers are sponges. You really don't want to keep them in the coffee longer than a couple seconds per side. If they absorb too much coffee, they will release it into your tiramisu, so you will have a sort of a puddle of coffee on the bottom, very soggy ladyfingers, so that's a big no. Again, remember, tiramisu needs to be made the day before. That's the most important feature to get a very good tiramisu. And there's not much more to say. I mean, it's important that you take the time to whisk to whisk the egg whites to perfect peaks and to whisk the egg yolks until they are really pale yellow. They must become almost white. So I hope this will help you achieve your perfect tiramisu. Let me know if you will try it. See ya!